We work with a lot of first-time buyers in our business, which is something that I love getting to do, but there are a handful of misconceptions slash mistakes, potential mistakes that we see first-time home buyers having time and time again that we're going to talk about today really quick. So the first one is just counting yourself out too soon. It's really common for buyers to just assume they're not going to be able to buy a house. And we've seen this happen time and time again where we chat with a buyer, they want to buy a house, but they don't even bother talking to a lender because they don't think that they would qualify. But then after talking to our lender, they're pleasantly surprised to find out they actually can qualify. So don't count yourself out too soon. The next mistake is not understanding property taxes. In Salem specifically, a home on one side of town can have drastically different property taxes than a home on a different side of town, if that makes sense. And this can really affect what you can and cannot afford in a home slash your monthly payment potentially. So that's something just to be aware of. The next mistake is thinking that you need 20% down to buy a house. You don't even need 3% down. There are first-time homebuyer assistance programs. There is a USDA loan, which is a whole other thing we won't talk about here, where you can buy with $0 down. There are options, so definitely don't believe that you need 20% down. That is just not true. The next mistake or misconception is that it is too early to talk to a lender. I always say, honestly, the earlier the better, because if you don't talk to a lender, then you don't know what you're even saving for, what your goal is, what you're aiming for. Talking to a lender is going to give you a really good roadmap of what to expect and what goals to set for yourself. Because if you want to buy, even in the next year or two, I think you should talk to a lender. They're going to give you a really good idea of what your monthly payment might look like at certain price points and what you would expect to save for a down payment at certain price points with different loan programs and all of that, which is just so important if you're having that goal of becoming a homeowner within the next year or two. The next mistake is not knowing there are options besides just a regular single family home. Here in Salem specifically, we have condos, townhomes, manufactured homes, in parks, zero lot line homes. So if you are somebody who is maybe priced out of the market when it comes to a single family home, or you want to explore other options, there are for sure other options that will even be more affordable for you potentially. Those are all things we can talk about on a buyer consultation call when you are ready to talk about buying. The very first step is getting on a phone or Zoom call with Spencer or I. We would love to chat with you.